Cowboys like us sure do have fun, racing the wind, chasing the sun, take a long way around, back to square one.
Back-to-back 10-win seasons. It had never happened before in Oklahoma State football history. That is until these past 3 seasons. And that did include 2017, where the Cowboys wrapped up a 10-3 campaign. But you have a feeling when you look back, when you're looking in retrospect at the 2017 season, that perhaps a great opportunity for even more success was missed. We know this because all 3 losses occurred at home, a place where the Cowboys have been so dangerous at Boone Pickens Stadium. Entering 2018, Mike Gundy, now in year number 14 in Stillwater, knows that this could very well be the biggest rebuilding job he's ever had to do on both sides of the ball. They'll have a new defensive coordinator, a new scheme, but we are going to begin with the offense where several players have to be replaced, and that does include Mason Rudolph, who had been the QB for the Cowboys since late 2014, and he was one hell of a QB now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He guided the Cowboys to the #1 passing offense in all of college football in 2017, 389 yards per game. And by the way, the Cowboys were second in the country in total offense, 568 yards per contest. Taylor Cornelius, pressure's going to be on him, and we really didn't know up until just a few weeks ago who was going to be announced as a starting quarterback, but Gundy made that official. Cornelius, he's been at the program for a little while now entering his senior year, 6 feet 6 inches tall, and I think he got the starting nod because of his overall familiarity with the Cowboy offense, even though I know he hasn't played a whole heck of a lot, especially last year, saw limited action. So Cornelius, for right now, is the guy at QB. They do have other options, though, with Drew Brown playing his final year in Stillwater, the transfer from Hawaii. There's also Keontre Wuti, the sophomore, and there's a freshman by the name of Spencer Sanders. But Cornelius is going to be the guy for now. But the Cowboy passing attack has suffered some big losses. James Washington, now with the Pittsburgh Steelers, all he did last season was become a first-team All-American and win the Biletnikoff Award as being the nation's top receiver with well over 1,400 yards receiving. And you also lost to an 1,100-yard-plus receiver in Marcel Ateman. Both guys, by the way, combined for over 20 touchdown catches. So this Cowboy offense, there are going to be challenges. That may be the biggest one, trying to replace those 2 big threats. The inside receiver position, I think they're going to be set well, though. With Jalen McCleskey back, 5 TDs for the Pokes in 2017, had over 600 yards receiving. And Dylan Stoner, who will also be returning punts, had 6 TDs. So inside receiver, I think they'll be fine, but they got to find that downfield threat, that home run threat. We'll see if Tyron Johnson can be the answer. The former LSU Tiger did have 16 yards per catch last season for the Pokes. The running game, this is an area that's just the opposite of the receivers as far as experience. They're loaded with experience, and Justice Hill, probably one of the best running backs in all of college football. Definitely the best running back in the Big 12. Put up close to 1,500 yards rushing a year ago, 15 touchdowns. Justice Hill, a threat to break a big one anytime he touches the ball. He is, no question, a great all-around running back. J.D. King, as a freshman, got some valuable playing time last year, had 4 touchdowns and close to 500 yards rushing, so he's a quality backup. But the offensive line has to replace 3 of the 5 starters, including a couple of first-team All-Big 12 players in Zach Crabtree and Brad Lumblade. But you do get back a first-team All-Big 12 player at left guard in Marcus Keys, and the center does return in Johnny Wilson. But you have to answer the question of both tackles and the right guard position. Now, as a diehard Sooner fan, I wasn't too happy that Mike Gundy let defensive coordinator Glenn Spencer go. Now he's with UNC Charlotte. I say this because of Oklahoma State's 3 losses last year, all at home, by the way. The defense was a big reason why the Cowboys didn't come through. I mean, against T.C.U., they gave up 44 points. Against Kansas State, 45. Against my Sooners, they gave up 62. So I am going to miss the fact that the Cowboys may not be giving up as many points now that they've made a change at coordinator. They'll be going to a 4-2-5 defense. Jim Knowles, the former Duke defensive coordinator, did some good things with the Blue Devils. Now will take over a Cowboy defense that returns most of the front 7, but will have some work to do in the secondary. Defensive line, I think, is going to be the strength of this Cowboy team, returning the likes of Jordan Brailford, who last season, knew how to be aggressive. 5 sacks a year ago and had 57 tackles. Cole Watershot also is back at defensive end. He is a senior. Defensive tackle, guy with playing experience, Darian Daniels, 26 tackles. So you get 3 of the 4 back on the defensive side of the line. You're looking at the linebackers, and there is a notable omission, and that is you don't have Chad Widener there anymore. He was very productive, but you get a couple of linebackers back in Justin Phillips, the leading returning tackler for OSU, 64 tackles in 2017. He's a senior, and the junior in Calvin Bundage, who had 54 stops. But the Cowboys secondary at times just got absolutely torched, and to make matters worse, some of your best players are not there anymore. You lose Trey Flowers. Now with the Seahawks, you also lose Ramon Richards as well. But the corners, you have experience there with A.J. Green, who led the Cowboys with 4 interceptions. He's a junior. And they could be going with sophomores as far as the remainder of that defensive backfield. Rodarius Williams occupying the other corner, a sophomore. And look at the safeties. Not much experience at all there. Kenneth Edison Magruder at one safety. You also have Malcolm Rodriguez at another. And Tabo Maniki will occupy the nickelback position. We'll see how Oklahoma State can adapt to a more aggressive type defense, which the 4-2-5 basically is known for. But also, too, it also is known for giving up big plays from time to time. Again, the Cowboys were average in terms of total defense, giving up 409 yards per game. That was just 79th in the country. The schedule for the Cowboys could very well set up for a 6-0 start. That is, if they can take care of business September the 15th against Boise State, who has a high-powered offensive attack, and just like the Cowboys, will be nationally ranked as long as both teams don't lose entering that September 15th game. The only road game for the first 6 games of the season is at Kansas. That's right, 5 of the first 6 games are in Stillwater. But as you notice, the second half of the schedule increases in difficulty. K-State on the road, but you do get 2 weeks to prepare for the Texas Longhorns. And then the final 3 games of November are against the best 3 teams in the conference, in my opinion, including Bedlam in Norman. And the Cowboys will try to get revenge on T.C.U., but you got to beat them in Fort Worth. The Cowboys will have some nice pieces on offense, including the running attack, and defensively over time, I think that they will show magnificent improvement. However, the second half of that schedule just way too difficult, and not to mention the fact that the passing game is not going to be the same as what we've seen it before. I'll look for Oklahoma State to finish 4th in the Big 12. That's my look at the Cowboys. We'll see you next time.